Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Siffany's Walk with Grace. We wanted to share one of our favorite and biggest, most helpful ways to just calm down and sort thoughts, right? I think
Coping skill. Yep. For me, this is the biggest one. It's like it works immediately. You just have to remember to do it. And so I have Siffany here that I'm going to help kind of guide her through and hopefully guide you through. It's breathing. We all do it. We do it all the time. But how well are we doing it? And let's get to kind of some basics of things, okay? So when we're born, we do what's called belly breathing. And that is, you have a diaphragm.
right here.
Yep. And if you're doing it correctly, your belly's coming out. And then you're tensing up to help expel the air, okay? Just like that, if you can see it. So you breathe in through your nose, opening up the diaphragm, opens up the stomach, allows breath to come, not in your stomach, but allows the breath to come into the lower parts of your lungs. And then you expel it out through your nose by squeezing that tummy muscle, that diaphragm, okay? The results of being able to breathe like that are enormous, and so I want to talk about that for a second. When we're anxious, we have a tendency, and we kind of somewhere in our, as we grow, we stop belly breathing and we start doing more of a chest breathing.
I can't even do the chest breath because so I'm a singer,
okay.
and so I use my diaphragm regularly, and so the chest breathing is like, hold on, let's see if I can do it.
Not quite your thing.
Kind of. I mostly got it. Okay.
Okay. So when we're anxious, we're breathing up here, oftentimes with our mouth instead of our nose. Well, when we're breathing with our mouth, we cannot get that breath all the way down. We got to do that through our nose.
And I'm filling all the way, but notice how much quicker I'm cycling through these.
Yeah. So when we're breathing up here in our chest, that actually creates, turns on the fight or flight, which is your anxiety. Okay, that's what's creating the anxiety. As your chest breathing, your body starts to kind of turn on. Your body feels like, oh, it's time to get in fight or flight. And so that brings with it a very anxious feeling. So basically your body's turned on.
And not to interrupt, but something I notice as a singer doing this, because like I said, I use this regularly. Like people are always like, stop yelling. I'm just projecting. But one thing I noticed just in that little bit of time that I was doing the chest breathing, and this is wild to me because I've never actually done this experiment. I didn't know we were doing an experiment, but apparently we were.
We are.
That made me dizzy. I was not getting enough oxygen at all. And I know that you get more oxygen with your diaphragm. That's why singers need to use them. But I did not realize that it cut off enough to make me freaking dizzy. That was wild. Okay, continue.
Okay, so that chest, so this goes hand in hand. Okay, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Do I start having anxious thoughts and then my body turns on? Or have I forgot to breathe this way and I'm breathing this way and then that creates the anxious thoughts? It doesn't matter. What matters is that it is perpetual, okay? It creates a feedback loop. One creates the other creates the other, and now all of a sudden, guess what? You have all this momentum. So then it becomes a matter of, okay, how do I stop this? Well, people generally try to stop thinking, right? Oh, stop that thought, but it's not changing anything in their body. Way quicker, if I can calm the body down, then the thoughts are going to naturally calm down. So I share breathing with everyone often because I feel like it's that important. So this anxious upper chest breathing has everything to do with our stress levels, What do we know about stress nowadays? We know that it creates disease. How many you're autoimmune. What are we told? Oh, go home and de-stress. Thank you. How do I do that? This is how. Work on the breathing, okay? So it will calm
Take your
the
hand,
body.
put it here. That's the best way to know you're doing it right.
Yep. Breathe in through the
Just
nose.
anywhere
and
in this area, you will feel it.
And make sure the hand comes out. Very good. Breathe out. Make sure it goes in. There you go. If you're really having a tough time with this, or you really want to get into it, a really good time, because I have people often tell me, Cheryl, I can't stop to think to do that. And I get it. Your brains are going a mile a minute. It's hard to think, oh yeah, breathe. But the more you practice, when things are going okay, then it's easier to bring in when you need it.
And one of my practices, I practice this every single day. Even if I do it regularly, I still make sure to put my full focus into diaphragm breathing. And it's because the more you strengthen that, first of all, the more air you're getting, which is fantastic. We all need to breathe, right?
It's good for your body.
We personally, we live at the foothills of some mountains, and we have some crazy high elevation. Like there's oxygen problems all over our state. Okay,
yeah, we need all the oxygen.
So living in a place where you're already cut off from oxygen, and then you're cutting half your oxygen off by cutting off half of your intake. So now, one thing I want to point out too, pay attention, because they both inflate. It's not that you're not using your lungs. It's just that you're continuing bringing it down. So if you pay attention, both of them move. I'm getting lungs and diaphragm in this. And you're doubling your intake of air there. And so not only does it give you more air, it's also a nice little workout. I mean, you're working your muscles. It's you can literally work out watching TV. Just.
Yep. So breathe whenever you think about it. My favorite time to practice breathing is at night as I'm falling asleep. So it will help calm your thoughts. It will help you fall asleep.
I can attest to this as an insomniac.
Yep. And you just keep your focus on your breath, and when you find that your mind is kind of drifting off, bring it back, focus on your breath.
And one of the things that helps me do that, because my mind is one of the drifters, unfortunately I multitask way too much.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I do is, in my brain, I'm counting while I'm breathing. So I'm like,
yeah, that can help.
In, 1, 2, 3, out, 1, 2, 3, in, 1. And you don't say it out loud, obviously, but it keeps your brain focused on it instead of letting it crawl all over the place.
Yep. Then another favorite time for me to practice breathing is when I'm driving. Here in Colorado Springs.
Lots of road rage, guys. It's crazy.
Yeah, because we've grown so big and our streets are still...
Our roads can't keep up with our influx.
Cannot keep up. So yeah, everybody's fast tracking. So so I practice then, because yeah, there's a lot of anger out there in the road, and so it keeps me calmer. So I practice when I'm driving. Like Siffany said, she likes to practice while she's watching TV. I do that too. And then at night as I'm going to bed. But really, I practice it. The more you practice, the more it comes up for you. So you just have to start, and you have to be willing and kind of buy into. It's crazy to think how powerful your breath is.
And if you have kids, practice it with them. That'll get you all of your practice.
Definitely. Yeah, because they need to learn it too. But it helps to open up the hip area, and in that area, so it's good for digestion. The benefits, good for the small of your back. It just
posture.
Posture.
It helps you get straight posture, because you can't use your diaphragm if you're too curled over.
Yeah. So the benefits are tremendous. Believe, think about, could something so simple be so easy?
And also picture envisionment. When you're breathing in, you're pulling in good energy. You're pulling in positive air. You're pulling in renewal because it's a new breath of air. When you're exhaling, picture yourself relieving the negative, letting go of the toxin, letting go of the bad thoughts, letting go of whatever, the stale air. And as you cycle through it, you'll realize, you'll be like, holy crap, that was crazy. And I used to fight it. Like, she was constantly growing up, like, deep breaths. And I was like, I'm a rebel, no, rah, right? And then as an adult, I'm like, wow, I was dumb. How much would that have saved me if I'd have paid attention and actually just done a couple deep breaths? Like, oh, it's so bad. Yeah. But realistically, I actually kind of screwed myself there by being so resistant. Like, it's been a big help. And in my musical life, too. Like, I could have advanced so much quicker if I would have just listened to my mother. What do you know, huh? Moms actually know stuff. What?
So let us know in the comments if you try it and, what you find. Okay? We'd love to hear from you.
And thanks for stepping in for another episode of Siffany's Walk with Grace.